Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We are here for the 14th round of the Formula 1 season here on the PlayStation 4 and 5, here on the Codemasters Formula 1 game for Season 3 of the Motive Racing Formula 1 League. We've got 17 cars out on the track right now at a very damp Monza Autodromo Nazionale Monza, the home of the Italian Grand Prix. We're ready, we are up for this one, and it's looking tricky out there for these drivers as the lap time's considerably down on what you'd usually be seeing around this Monza circuit, but nonetheless I'm sure we're going to be seeing some very swift and hopefully some exciting and clean action from all of these drivers. Monza, as we all know, a bit of a hot spot into turn one. It can always be a little bit dangerous, but let's hope that these guys have practiced their braking points, especially in the wet, although hopefully we'll have dry conditions for the actual race itself. I'm not sure what the weather's saying at the moment. Maybe some of the drivers know. If any of the drivers are listening to the stream in the currently out on the track right now, let us know in the comments what the weather's saying. Let us know what the forecast is looking like for this one, as it would be great to have some idea of what to expect once we get into the race. But right now we got some slightly damp conditions. The track looks like it's drying out though. The rain appears to have stopped, so we reckon the track's probably going to get quicker and quicker as this session goes on. As we're about halfway through the session, unfortunately I misjudged my timings again and set the timer so that it would cut in halfway through quali, which is something I don't actually often do, to be fair. Usually I time it so that it cuts in at least only a couple of minutes into quali, but on this occasion we messed that one up as we see Attack on Fighting. Oh no, Attack on Fighting has just gone straight on at Lesmo 1. What is he doing there? Or maybe he's crashing out of the session so that he can inform us over what the forecast is looking like for the weather, because he seemed to just bin that into the barriers intentionally there, so very bizarre. But we've got Clarky Boy out there at the moment, also Jelram, the provisional pole sitter, 28.4. He's got 8 tenths at the moment over Little Greavy at the top of the leaderboard. Little Greavy doing a good job though, was a tenth off on his previous lap there, so the track not really drying out too quickly at this point. His lap time actually down on his previous best. You'd expect if the track was dry, and then the lap times were getting quicker and quicker at a rapid rate, but they don't appear to be at this moment in time. We've got Game for Life just coming out of Ascari at the moment. He's heading up towards the Parabolica. Bennett's coming into the pits, so he's getting a change of tyres, possibly putting the slicks on. Who knows, maybe it's a bit too early for that. We shall see. The Mutsnuts in the lobby at the moment. Regular reservist, the Mutsnuts. Good to see him out on the track as always. We've got Penguin Dude out there at the moment as well. He's currently sat in at 6th at the moment in this qualifying session. You got the Grieve in the pits, as is Matty Pitt. Chicken Wing is out there on an outlap at this particular moment in time. Attack on Fighting, we saw, obviously crashed out of the session and is no longer here in this one. Tila Tifi in the pits. Clarky Boy's out there at the moment. Magfire in the pits. Rexy Boy's out there at the moment on a lap. He's just coming to the middle sector here, coming in towards Lesmo 1. And through he goes through Lesmo 2 there. DJ Phil and Rednass in the pits at the moment. Yeah, that's pretty much it at the moment there. So we've got Dimitri Devoe saying the race is looking dry. Thank you, Dimitri. Thanks for that tip off there. As we can see, Little Greavy up towards the line improves very slightly, but not really the amount of improvement that he needs or wants if he is to get himself in the thick of it in this session. Jelram though is the first driver along with Magfire and Rednass to put the soft tyres on, so these three guys have all made the switch to the dry tyres here, but they haven't got themselves out onto the track just yet, but they're all making that switch now. I think it's probably about the right time. Looks like it looks pretty dry at this point, although the lap times are still about 10 seconds off of the sort of pace that you would be seeing in the full dry conditions. So it's not an easy one to predict. It's a very difficult one to get right, but let's see what these guys can do. Let's see what they can make happen here with the strategy. As Game for Life's got a little bit closer to Jelram there. He's got within 3 tenths at the pole time, so Game for Life's doing a good job, but still a little way to go. Little Greavy's just coming up underneath the old circuit. He's 3 tenths up his Little Greavy, so this is looking like a good lap. Now, I don't know whether or not the track's improved quite a lot through the final sector. There's not really too many corners here. There's only 3 corners through this entire last sector, but the Ascari one, you can gain quite a lot of time down to the nature of the corner. There's a lot of grip to be found, and here comes Little Greavy into the Parabolica now. Little Greavy was on pole at Spa a couple of weeks ago. Can he make it another pole position here as he comes out onto the start finish straight? No, he doesn't. He comes into the pits there. So that's that lap done there for Little Greavy. Penguin Dude doing a decent job here in this session at the moment. You've got Bennett in the pits, as is the Marks Nuts and the Grieve. Kenny's I think Kenny left the session. I don't know if he left the session. It said he left the session, I think. He's been disqualified from the qualifying session. Kenny, if you're listening, mate, get yourself back in. Doesn't matter if you start from the back. It could be a chaotic race. There could be safety cars. You never know what's going to happen throughout the course of the race. So my advice, get yourself in. There's still plenty of points on the table. I don't know if he did leave the session. It looked like he did. I think I saw it said he left, but I don't know. Let's see Clarky Boy in the pits. Rexy Boys just coming into the pits as well. Chicken Wings coming through turn 1 and 2, the chicane. And Magpie is still in the pits. Red Nass is out there at the moment, as is Joram. Now let's ride on board with the reigning champion and championship leader. He's coming back in, so maybe it's not quite time for the soft tyres yet. Oh, look at Red Nass. Yeah, that understeer is real. That understeer really, he looks like he's struggling with that, but give it a couple of minutes, who knows, maybe the track might have dried out enough for the dry tyres. So what do these guys do? I mean, they've probably got to get themselves into the pits, wait a couple of minutes and then come back out again. As we got Dimitri DeVoe says, man, this sucks. I locked up on that turn and couldn't turn. I was trying to brake, but it just wouldn't, unfortunately. Massive shame there for you, mate. Obviously, I think that's Attack on Fighting there, Dimitri. Let us know. I think I'm right with that one. As we see Red Nass coming down towards turn 1 on these soft tyres. Now let's see what he can find here on the dry tyres, because we know that Johan was struggling. He's brought it straight back into the pits after getting out there on those dry tyres. But it looks like everybody else is now made that switch as well. So Little Greavy's come in for the softs, as has Penguin Dude, Bennett, the Mutts Nuts and the Grieve, and Rexy Boy as well. I wonder if Joram switched to the dries a little bit too early and ended up burning them out, or just taking the grip out of them when it was still relatively wet, and maybe he's had to come in for a new set because he came in just a couple of minutes too early. There's such fine lines between the soft tyres working and the soft tyre, and it being too early for the soft tyres. It really is a very difficult one to get right, because one moment, it can be plenty of standing water, or it can be a little bit damp, and then just the sunshine hits the track, and it drains so quickly as well, because when the drivers are out there, when you've got 17 cars driving around kicking up the spray, it tends to actually shed the water pretty quickly, so it can go from relatively slippery to almost bone dry in no time. But let's stay on with Red Nass here. He's coming out of the Parabolica. This is the first real proper flying lap on the soft tyres, and this looks to be a good one here. Red Nass coming up towards the line. Is it going to be pole? It is pole, and it's 1.2 seconds quicker than Joram. So Red Nass is currently absolutely on one. The Mutts Nuts is also up, coming through the middle sector by 3 seconds. So this could be provisional pole here for the Mutts Nuts. As who else is on a lap? Doesn't look like anybody else is out on a lap. But the Mutts Nuts, the second driver to put the soft tyres on, and Red Nass currently on provisional pole. But Little Greavy is a second and a half up through the first sector, should I say? But here comes the Mutts Nuts out of the Parabolica. He's on a very quick lap here in the Williams. Up towards the line comes the Mutts Nuts. What can he put on the board here? Over the line he comes, and he goes on pole, and he goes 1.6 seconds quicker than Red Nass. So the track is now drying out at a rapid rate. The tyre to be on is the soft tyres. Drivers who have done a time on the intermediates are not going to find any joy here in the latter stage of this qualifying session. They all really need to be on the soft tyres. As Little Greavy's coming up towards the Parabolica, what can he do? Late on the brakes as he gets the car turned in, tries to turn in as late as possible there so he doesn't scrub too much speed off. Here he comes up towards the line. Little Greavy's done a good lap here. I reckon this is going to be another pole lap here. It is, and he's the first man into the 123. So the times are coming in thick and fast, and they are absolutely tumbling now. Joram is on an out lap. He's got himself around. Game for Life starting a lap at the moment. You've got Penguin Dude just coming through the first sector checkpoint in towards Lesmo 1. You've got Bennett LCFC coming over the line. Hasn't done a lap that's worth anything up the top of the order at the moment, but he's going to get one more in at this one, and possibly two here. The Grieve, no, he'll only get one lap in. The Grieve is out there, but he's backed out of his lap. The Grieve is backed out of this lap that he's on. He's going to slow it down. He's going to look for some space here by the looks of it. He doesn't want to get held up. He doesn't want to catch anybody while he's on his hot lap. So he's just trying to find some space and take it easy, take a breath and go again. But the Grieve currently P8 in this qualifying session, so he's got a lot of work to do. Rexy Boy in 11th place, 1.7 seconds up through the first sector. Everybody's improving right now, but what's about the Mutts Nuts? The Mutts Nuts has gone half a second quicker, but not enough. Little Greavy still on provisional pole, and Little Greavy is another second up through the middle sector, so he's continuing to improve his lap time more and more and more. Game for Life is 4 seconds up and could potentially be on pole here as well. Here comes Game for Life down the run towards the Parabolica. You can see that McLaren there getting as wide as it can go, trying to make absolutely the most amount of space that he can, carry the most speed into the Parabolica. Here he comes onto the power, getting as wide as he can, a little bit onto the AstroTurf, dipped a wheel onto the white line there, up towards the line comes Game for Life, and he goes on pole by just 1/10 of a second. Little Greavy there did improve his lap, but Game for Life 2/10 quicker here. What about Joram? Joram's coming through the Lesmo 1 at the moment. He's 2 seconds up through the first sector. Here is Joram. This is on. Watch this space. Joram could potentially go on pole position here at the end of this session. It's all hotting up. Is on a drying track here at Monza tonight. As we can see, somebody's lost it through Lesmo 1. That's Bennett. Bennett has crashed out as the Mutts Nuts had to make his way through that yellow flag zone. Hopefully he didn't lose too much time, but it looks like he's down. He's not going to drive the rest of this lap in 17 seconds, so the Mutts Nuts has been held up somewhere. Yeah, he's 11 seconds down on his personal best. So who else could get pole? Joram is probably the most likely. No, he's had to back out. Oh, Joram's backed out of it as Matty Pitt's gone P2 right to the end. Matty Pitt puts himself provisionally on the front row of the grid here alongside Game for Life. What a lap there from Matty Pitt. The Mutts Nuts has backed out of it. Joram is done for the session. Penguin Dude, he's done. He's not going to improve. What about the Grieve? The Grieve's coming up towards the line. He's on a really good lap here as well. And the Grieve goes pole there by half a second. Right to the death of the session. Is anybody else on a lap though? I don't know if anybody else is out on a lap. As Clarky Boy goes into 5th place. Just about a second off of the pace of the Grieve. So Clarky Boy doing a good lap there into P5. Penguin Dude looks like he's done for the session. I think that's going to be that. I think that is that then for the session. It's going to be the Grieve on pole. Takes it by half a second to Game for Life. Matty Pitt will line up in 3rd. And a Little Greavy who will line up alongside Matty Pitt on the 2nd row. Clarky Boy and the Mutts Nuts will line up in 5th and 6th. Ahead of Chicken Wing in 7th, followed by Rexy Boy in 8th. As Rexy Boy comes over, doesn't improve. Red Nass will start 9th, ahead of Joram in 10th. Penguin Dude in 11th, followed by Bennett in 12th, then Attack on Fight in 13th. Tila Tifi will start 14th in this one, ahead of Magfire in 15th. Very surprising to see Magfire down there in P15, not like him at all. DJ Phil will line up in 16th place here in this one. Didn't switch to the softs in the end, stayed on the intermediates. Not a tie I want to be on in this session, Phil. Kenny obviously got disqualified from the session in the early stages. So that is the grid then for the Italian Grand Prix here at Motive for Season 3 on the Codemasters Formula 1 game for the Formula 1 Championship. The Grieve taking pole in the Haas with Game for Life lining up alongside him on the front row. It's going to be Matty Pitt and Little Greavy on the 2nd row. And this is absolutely race on, guys. If you enjoy what you see, if you're a friend, family member, otherwise associate of any of the drivers out on track, please do drop a like and let us know who you're supporting tonight. If you're one of the drivers, share this with your family members, friends, and otherwise associates. But here we go. Let's get into the race. Here we are then, ladies and gentlemen. We are moments away from the start of the Italian Grand Prix here at Motive for round 14 of Season 3 here on the Codemasters Formula 1 game on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms. Heading towards the thick end of the season now. We're coming towards the last few rounds. The drivers are now forming up on the grid, getting ready to go racing for this one. Once the 5 lights go out, we will be officially underway for round 14 of the season. And it's lights out and away we go. And the Grieve gets a good start from pole position. Game for Life a bit bogged down off the line, and the Grieve's brother, Little Grievey, moves himself into second place behind his brother here as we come in towards the first chicane. The Mutts Nuts has made up positions, but Clarky Boy's looking to try and get back around the outside of the Mutts Nuts here, side by side on the exit of the first chicane, and the Mutts Nuts manages to, Matty Pitt, manages to squeeze around the outside of Clarky Boy. Joe Ram's got ahead of Rednas. Rednas has dropped behind Penguin Dude, and what's happening here? There's Tila Tifi's dropping down the order here, obviously driving in the sister Red Bull that Raki couldn't join in tonight, and Tila Tifi's dropping behind Attack on Fighting and Bennett. So Tila Tifi's had a nightmare of a start to this race. The Grieve though leads into Lesmo 1 for the first time. Little Grievey, Game 5, Matty Pitt, Clarky Boy. There's the Mutts Nuts, Joe Ram, Rexy Boy, Penguin Dude and Knight, the head of Rednas. There's Attack on Fighting, Bennett, Tila Tifi, Kenny, Magfire, DJ Phil running in P16 with Chicken Wing behind him at the moment, but the Grieve trying to break away a bit at the front. He's got a 6/10 of a second gap here over his brother Little Grievey at the moment, but early doors here in this race. Still a long way left to go here as we're coming into Ascari for the first time. As we've got Penguin Dude making a move there on Rexy Boy up into 8th place. A nice move there from Penguin Dude, gaining a place. And Game for Life looking to try and get on with this here with Little Grievey, looking down the inside into the Parabolica. Can he make this move stick? Little Grievey's going to try and hang it around the outside though. I tell you what, it's going to be tight, but Little Grievey just keeping it just about on the track there, just clinging to that AstroTurf on the outside and keeping onto that one for the time being. Joe Ram's got around the Mutts Nuts here up into 6th place, so nicely done there from the championship leader and reigning champion after not the qualifying session that he would have been wanting at all, that's for sure. And Little Grievey, as he got back ahead of Game for Life here. Oh, bit of contact there. Game for Life gets a bit of a snap oversteer. He might find himself vulnerable here to Matty Pitt, but Matty Pitt has to get out of it a little bit there to avoid running into him. Running up with Clarky Boy running in 5th place. What's happened here to Attack on Fighting? He's dropping down the order here. Attack on Fighting's lost out to Rednas, Bennett and Rexy Boy, so didn't see what happened there to him. And DJ Phil is in the pits here at the end of the first lap, so a bit of a strange one. But the Grieve, Little Grievey, Game for Life. Joe Ram's got ahead of Clarky Boy here down the inside into Lesmo 1. Clarky Boy trying to hang it around the outside, but has to give that one up, as we can see Joe Ram now getting onto the back of Matty Pitt here. And Joe Ram has had an absolutely electric start to this race. He has been on one since the start of this one. He's gone from way down the field up into 4th place around the outside here of Matty Pitt. Matty Pitt powerless to do anything there as they come into the Ascari, and Joe Ram there up into 4th place can now sense the podium places not too far away in front of him. Clarky Boy trying to come back at Matty Pitt as we're coming out of Ascari down towards Parabolica here for the second time. No DRS this time. It'll be open on the next lap, but Clarky Boy's got the speed here down the straights. Doesn't look like he's really in a position to do anything there. The Mutts Nuts on the back of Clarky Boy though. These two not separated by much. The Mutts Nuts tagging that curb on the inside of Parabolica. You don't want to be doing that too much. That could be lethal. Little Grievey though is all over his brother, and he's going to make the move here down the start-finish straight, and the Grieve with nothing to offer him there, coming over the line down towards the first chicane. They come again, and Little Grievey now your new race leader ahead of the Grieve. Game for Life, Joe Ram there in 4th place ahead of Matty Pitt, Clarky Boy, the Mutts Nuts ahead of Penguin Dude. There's Rednas and Bennett completing the points playing positions in P10. Rexy Boy ahead of Magfire. And what's happened to Penguin Dude? Oh, Penguin Dude's off. Penguin Dude's at a moment there coming to the first chicane. He's dropping down the order like a stone here, and Game for Life. Game for Life's also at a moment. Game for Life's got spun it on the exit of the first chicane. He's on the grass. Did he have a collision with somebody? It doesn't look like it. Nobody else has lost ground aside from him. But Game for Life down the order here. So unbelievable developments here at this stage in the race, but so much is going on right now. Penguin Dude's got back ahead of Magfire up into P10. Magfire's having a nightmare of a night. What is going on with Magfire tonight? Just doesn't seem to be his track. It just doesn't seem to like Monza for some reason. Very strange. Little Grievey, the Grieve, Joe Ram separated by not much. These two, the Grieve and Joe Ram, are absolutely tied together at this point. Little Grievey since making the move on his brother, but it's oh, there's a collision there between the Grieve and Joe Ram, and they look like they both survived without terminal damage, but have they both got their front wings intact? That's the question. As we see almost the entire pack coming through here, Joe Ram is going to drop down to 11th place in this race because of that incident there. Oh no, and the Grieve dropping down to P5, so he's got away with one, really, you have to say, in comparison to Joe Ram. Joe Ram on the back of Magfire here, he's coming into the pits, so he's making the most of that and just bringing it in, trying to limit the damage done there in that scenario. And the Grieve doing exactly the same thing, so they might end up being in the same stretch of tarmac again. Although I think the Grieve is a little way ahead of Joam, so he might be all right there. They might both be all right because I don't think they should be clear of each other. Fingers crossed. But Little Grievey leads the race by 3 seconds. Matty Pitt has got Clarky Boy absolutely all over the back of him here. Clarky Boy driving a great race. Clarky Boy in contention in the XL Formula 2 League on a Thursday night for second place in the championship. Was commentating on that one last night. Clarky Boy, little known fact, also is my boss at Morrison's Daily or McColl's. But anyway, back to the racing. He's currently on the back of he's coming on the back of Matty Pitt as we're coming down to underneath the old circuit towards Ascari, and looking like he's really on one here. As we can see, Redknapp down the inside of the Mutts Nuts up into 4th place there. Can the Mutts Nuts do anything to come back in him here on the exit of Ascari? Doesn't look like he's able to do so right now. Penguin Dude has got ahead of Rexy Boy up into 8th place, and T Latifi wide again. Oh, T Latifi, mate, come on. All over the gaff today. But at the moment, it's Little Grievey. 3 seconds of a gap here to Matty Pitt as we're coming over the line to complete that forward race. Clarky Boy, though, in the slipstream. He'll have DRS here on Matty Pitt this time around. Can he get himself into P2 here? Look at that closing speed. The Ferrari is absolutely sailing past the Mercedes there. I think Matty Pitt must have something other than maximum straight line speed set up on his car, because Clarky Boy just passed him like he wasn't even there, and Clarky Boy is up into 2nd place here in this race, only 3 seconds off for the race leader. Maybe could be sensing a win here. Clarky Boy's never even been on the podium here at Motive, so imagine if he got a win tonight. That would be absolutely unbelievable, as Tack On Fighting's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings here we're seeing on the timing screen. Redknapp ahead of the Mutts Nuts, ahead of Bennett in 6th place. Magfire 4 seconds back in 7th place. It's got a couple of seconds back to Penguin Dude. Rexy Boy there is on the back of Penguin Dude at the moment. You've got T Latifi a couple of seconds further back in P10. Then you've got Chicken Wing a long way behind 11th place. 5 seconds for Kenny the Grieve running into 13th place. 5 seconds ahead of Joam after their collision. A couple of laps to go. Game for Life down in 15th place, having made a stop on the previous lap. DJ Phil and Attack On Fighting completing the classification. And Matty Pitt's got back ahead of Clarky Boy. So Matty Pitt's done Clarky Boy into Ascari, but Clarky Boy will have the run coming down towards Parabolica here, on board with the Ferrari, as we can see him pulling out to the right hand side. But the thing is, if he passes Matty Pitt before the DRS zone, there we go, look, Matty Pitt's let him go because Matty Pitt knows the DRS zone's coming up. Matty Pitt could have just set Clarky Boy up an absolute kipper there, or is Clarky Boy going to have enough down the straight to hold on here on board with Matty Pitt? The DRS open here for Matty Pitt, but Clarky Boy, we reckon's probably got a lower downforce setup on his car. Is he going to defend it? Oh, he makes a late defence, but he's not going to be able to cover him off fully. Matty Pitt down the inside, Clarky Boy trying to hold it around the outside, and in the end Clarky Boy gives that one up. So that's Redknapp there squeezing to drop into 3rd place, but Matty Pitt did fully set Clarky Boy up there because he braked a little bit earlier, let Clarky Boy come past into the braking zone into Parabolica, and then used the DRS to come straight back past. So using a bit of a Leclerc tactic there with Matty Pitt, and Clarky Boy wasn't able to see that one coming, as Penguin Dude is on the back of Rexy Boy here. These two batting it out over 8th and 9th places. Penguin Dude looking to try and get this move done around the outside here. Into the braking zone they come. Rexy Boy goes there on the brakes, just squeezes him back ahead there. So Rexy Boy keeping onto that P8 just about. Joam there's got ahead of Kenny up into 13th place in the meantime, but with a lot of work to do here in this race after his collision earlier on with the Grieve. You got Bennett on the back of the Mutts Nuts here, riding on board with the Williams. They're coming underneath the old circuit. Is he going to send one down the inside? A little bit too far back to make one happen from there, as Redknapp running in 3rd place now in a sandwich in between Matty Pitt and Redknapp. But these three losing hand over fist to the race leader Little Grievey, who is just skating away out the front in the lead of this race. Clarky Boy a little bit wide there out of the Parabolica. Not the line that he'd have been wanting to take there, but you've got Redknapp here now in the slipstream. He's got the run here on Matty Pitt. He pulls out of the slipstream here, looking to the inside. Is he going to be able to hold this, or is Matty Pitt going to come back at him? No, Matty Pitt not in a position to do anything there. In the background, you've got Bennett looking down the inside of the Mutts Nuts here, and he's made that move there up into 5th place. Can the Mutts Nuts come back at him? Doesn't look like he's going to be able to. Ooh, it's Bennett very wide there on the exit of the first chicane, but looks like the Mutts Nuts there actually getting passed by Magfire. So Magfire up into 6th place in that little debacle. Bennett can now try and get up the road a little bit. Can the Mutts Nuts come back at Magfire? No, not going to be able to do that. Joam's got ahead of the Grieve. So these two, who had a bit of a tussle earlier on, who had a collision when battling over the podium spots, they obviously both dropped back down the order. Joam has now done the Grieve up into 12th place. Joam having already made a pit stop, but he put the soft tyres on. So unless we have a safety car, he's not really done himself any favours. And Attack On Fire Fighting's out of the race. Attack on Fighting has crashed out of the race here on lap 7 of the race. Magpie's just got ahead of Bennett. Did he do it under double waved yellow flagstone? No, because they were in sector 2 at the time that the overtake happened. So Magpie's all right there, up into P5. Good move there from Magpie. As Redknapp still ahead of Matty Pitt and Clarky Boy here. T Latifi's done Rexy Boy up into 9th place. And Rexy Boy's at a moment. That's why Rexy Boy's dropping down. Rexy Boy's dropping well off at the back of T Latifi. As we can see, Game for Life's got ahead of Kenny up into 14th place. Clarky Boy's got DRS on Matty Pitt, but Matty Pitt's got the DRS on Redknapp, so nothing doing there. Bennett's still close on the back of Magpie, but nothing doing between those two either. Joram now sizing up Chicken Wing as Chicken Wing goes a little bit wide through Parabolica, and Joram sneaks up the inside there, up into 11th place. But this battle for second place continues to rage on between Redknapp, Matty Pitt and Clarky Boy. Not much really separating these guys. Bennett there running in 6th place, only just under a second behind Magpie at this point. Little Greavy currently skating away with this race lead at this point. Bennett's still trying to put pressure on Magpie, but he's actually dropped off a little bit coming through that middle sector. So really this is the main battle out on track right now between Redknapp, Matty Pitt and Clarky Boy, as DJ Phil's got a 3-second time penalty. Oh wow, 11 of you watching. Jeez. Thanks everybody for checking us out. Drop a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Please do drop a like. It helps us out an enormous amount. It helps us out more than you can know. As Clarky Boy is still within a second here of Matty Pitt, and Matty Pitt looks like he might be coming. No, he's fainting to go into the pits there, but then thought better of it. The race to the Little Greavy is in though at the end of lap 8. But Matty Pitt there trying to sell a dummy there to Clarky Boy, and Clarky Boy having absolutely none of it into the first chicane they come. But Redknapp's backing up Matty Pitt and Clarky Boy into Magpie a little bit. And Magpie has now started to get his act together a little bit in this race. He had a bit of a slow start. I was thinking, this isn't the Magpie that we know, but he seems to be getting ahead of steam now. Bennett there running in 5th place, only a couple of seconds behind Magpie. He's gapped them nuts by about 3 seconds here, as Joram's now ahead of Penguin Dude, and Joram into a points paying position. And one important reference to note is that Joram is only about 10 seconds behind Little Greavy, and Little Greavy, the net race leader, we know that Little Greavy obviously will have the lead once all is said and done with the pit stops. So with that in mind, Joram's done a really good job to come back from those woes earlier on with the damage that he sustained out of Ascari with the collision with the Grieve, and just everything that went on in that, obviously lost time, having the damage, having to limp round to the pits. So only be 10 seconds behind the net race leader isn't too bad at all. And Joram's not out of this one for the podium spots, as he's now looking to eye up and move on Rexy Boy. Rexy Boy a little bit loose there out of Lesmo too, but Joram nowhere to go, had to get out of it a little bit, but he's got DRS here and he's going to breeze past him here. Joram gets the move done around the outside underneath the old circuit and is up into 9th place. As the battle still rages on between Redknapp, Matty Pitt and Clarky Boy. This is for a net P2 in this race, because Little Greavy is a net race leader, having already been into the pits to make his pit stop. But it's Redknapp, Matty Pitt and Clarky Boy still running pretty close to each other at the moment, and Magpie has now joined this battle. Redknapp, in fact, has just opened up a bit of a gap here to the other three. Looking on the timing board, looks as though Game for Life's on the back of Penguin Dude. Oh my goodness me! Chicken Wing there. Wow, what's Chicken Wing doing? He's just gone for a lunge there on Game for Life. Tila TV's into the pits here. But wow, Chicken Wing there going for an absolute dive on Game for Life. That's not going to work, Chicken Wing. Tila TV coming in, and he's off and away once again there in Raki Majay's car tonight, with Raki not being able to make it. Obviously it's the teammate of Joram, but Redknapp still out in front by a second and a half, and Magpie's got back ahead of Clarky Boy. So actually no, he hasn't got back ahead of him. He's got ahead of him, because he was never behind. He was never in front of him before. He is now. But Clarky Boy's still close though, that's the thing. Clarky Boy's not out of this battle for the podium spots. He's still within, a second of Matty Pitt. He's still within 2 seconds of Redknapp. So yeah, he's still just there. He's poised to do something in this race. He's still very much in that fight for the top 3 at this point. As we see Matty Pitt there coming into the pits at the end of lap 10. So he slows it down to the pit limiter speed and trundles through the pit lane here. Redknass's lead, 1.4 seconds over Magfire. Clarky Boy in hot pursuit. Bennett's dropped back off of these guys a little bit. 3 seconds behind them, running in 4th place. The Mutt's still going in 5th. Joram, could he be in the fight for the podiums once we get to the end of this race? He's been on a hard charge since his collision with the Grieve a few laps ago in the early stages of this race. But as we said before, a lot of work to do here in this one. An Attack on Fighting has left the session by the looks of it. What a shame there for him, obviously, to lose him at this point in the race. Game for Life and Chicken Wing both in the pits at this point. Redknass has half a second to Magfire at this point. Clarky Boy into 3rd place with the pit stop there. But obviously Matty Pitt now on fresh medium tyres, so he will come out somewhere ahead of these. But Joram's making a move here on Matty Pitt, and this is for position, and this is crucial because actually Joram has just passed one of the drivers who was in contention for a podium spot, so that just goes to show how much work Joram has got done over the course of this race. He's got himself now ahead of Matty Pitt, and they're both pitted, but the thing is Joram's got to pit again because he's not going to be able to go the full length of the race on that one set of soft tyres. But if he can get himself to about lap 17 on these tyres, then he might be able to put another set of softs on and go to the end. So it could still be an advantageous strategy here for Joram, as we can see the Mutt's in the pits. Question is though, what tyres did Joram start on? That's going to be, I think, pretty crucial to this one. What tyres did Joram start on in this race? That could be a big one. Just have a quick little look at the stream. Let's rewind the stream a bit. Joram started. He started on the softs. Yeah, he did start on the softs, so he's got to do a stint on the mediums. He'd be probably well advised to get on the mediums soon then, I guess. Well, Magfire now leading this race. He's opened up 1.6 of a gap here to Redknass. Redknass must have made a mistake there because Magfire's got ahead of him and has got quite a little way ahead of him at this point. Clarky Boy only 4 seconds behind Redknass, but he's 6 seconds off of the race lead. But we expect the little Greavy will take the lead back once all is said and done with the pit stops, and Redknass and Clarky Boy are in. So Redknass and Clarky Boy, we presume, are going to be putting on the medium tyres at this point. Would make the most sense, as here we see Clarky Boy pulling into the box, and Redknass is off and away. Ferrari boys do a good stop there for Clarky Boy. He's now off and away as well. And there they go, out of the pits once again. But Matty Pitt's managed to jump Redknass and Clarky Boy here. So Matty Pitt's out in daylight there. You see him coming on the exit of the first chicane. There's Redknass, and Clarky Boy has lost a bit of time over this pit window. So Matty Pitt, Redknass and Clarky Boy, the three of them still separated by 4 seconds. This is still battle on for these podium spots. What can Bennett do? He was only 3 seconds behind that battle before the pit window as well. So Bennett could maybe be in contention for a top 3 here if he can really get his head down over the second half of this race. Doesn't look like we're going to get a safety car here. Just doesn't seem like that kind of night. Everybody's pretty spread out. Everybody's kind of just keeping it clean. There haven't really been any argy-bargy at this stage. It's looking very much like a no safety car race, but I could end up eating my words there. It's DJ Phil and Kenny both in the pits here at the end of lap 12. Mutt's gone ahead of Penguin Dude. Penguin Dude's going to try and come back at him now on the exit of Lesmo 2. He's going to have the DRS and he's going to return the favour straight away here. Side by side under the old circuit. Can Penguin Dude, has he got enough here to squeeze around the outside of the Mutt's nuts? I think he has. Yes, he does. Penguin Dude up into P9 there. As Clarky Boy comes over the start-finish line, and Joram coming in for his final pit stop. Now, where's Joram going to get to? He's well clear of Penguin Dude, so he'll come out in P8. Have any of the drivers in front of him, barring Magfire and Bennett, who we know have got to pit. I don't think anybody else has got to come in. So, I tell you what, it would take a true champion's drive for Joram to be able to get into the top 5 in this race. I think a podium's beyond him. I reckon maybe top 5 possibly. If he really drives the wheels off of it, he could get into the top 5. Rexy Boy's done Tila Tifi into turn 1, so he's into 11th place. And Matty Pitt's still got Redknapp on the back of him. Vlieg de Vlieg's joined, but he's too late. Vlieg de Vlieg. I'll make sure I get you in for the next one, buddy. Sorry. I need to, I'll tell you what, it's just... everything seems to be coming around too quickly nowadays. Like, before I know it, it's 6 o'clock in the evening, and like, I've got to start setting up the lobby for tonight. Honestly, it's just every day seems to roll around before I'm ready for it. So I'm sorry about that, mate. I am sorry about that. I will get you in next week. Just remind me on Discord beforehand. As we see Magfire just coming out of the pits now. In the background, though, Redknapp and Matty Pitt side by side. Redknapp breezes past Matty Pitt into turn 1 and moves himself up into P4. McCartney Bennett just leading this race at the moment, but he won't be leading once we get to the end of the race because he's got to pit again. But Bennett LCFC's done 15 laps on these medium tyres, which he started the race on. Is he going to put the soft on for the final stint? You probably lose about 20 seconds in the pits at Monza. It's a shortish pit lane, but the problem is that you're going so fast down the start-finish straight that you lose a lot more time in the actual pit stop than you would if if it was say Monaco, for example. I mean, that's a given, but you know what I mean. It's like you're crossing the line, you're doing almost 200 even over the line, and that's before you even get to the end of the straight. So I think you lose a lot more time in the pits than you would do otherwise. But if you can put the soft tyres on, who knows what might happen in the last part of this race. If he comes out behind Clarky Boy or Matty Pitt or Redknapp, then they're going to be pretty much sitting ducks for him. Depends on how much pace Bennett's got around this track, but we know he's a hard racer, we know he's fast. He's not the 3-time champion in the XLOG League for nothing. So Bennett leading the race here, lap 16. He's got 11 laps left to go here in this one. He's got a 5-second gap, and he's keeping that gap to Little Greavy, despite being on tyres which are 9 laps older than Little Greavy's. He's keeping them in their window, and he's doing it very well. Little Greavy, the net race leader at this point, running in second place. Obviously, Little Greavy was leading before he came into the pits. He had quite about 4 seconds back to the battle between Redknapp, Matty Pitt and Clarky Boy. Magfire actually closed in on them and then got ahead of them. But Magfire over the pit windows really just driven away from them. It's been a great comeback drive actually from Magfire. He was only 4 seconds off for the lead. Attempted to say Magfire my driver of the day at this stage in the race, just down to his comeback, because he was way down the order at the start. He was nowhere in the first few laps, and he just brought himself back to the pack quietly, to be honest. Managed to clear the trio of Redknapp, Matty and Clarky Boy. And Little Greavy's made a mistake. Little Greavy has made a bit of a mistake there coming through the first sector. Oh my goodness, Magfire now within a second and a half of him. Unbelievable stuff. Well, I might be forced to eat my words at the end of this race, because I said earlier on that Magfire wasn't driving like himself. I said earlier on Magfire's not looking like his usual, not driving like he usually does, and I'm really surprised at this. He's having a terrible night, but whatever I've said, it's kind of just giving him a kick up the butt here, because he's now very close to the back of Little Greavy and could be on for a race win here. I did not see that one coming at the start, I will tell you that, but Little Greavy into the pits here. And Magfire now moves himself into P2. So, what is Little Greavy doing? I've got to ask. What? Why? So he's putting the soft tyres on, and he's going to come out behind these other guys. Does that or does that not give Bennett a free pit stop over him? In which case, Bennett, we know, he's got to put the soft tyres on. He's got to put the softs on, but he's done 18 laps on his mediums. He's probably going to come in at the end of this lap and put those soft tyres on. He will come out probably in P6, I would imagine. Probably ahead of Jelram. So he'll come out in P5, and he will be on the soft tyres. He'll be able to chase after... He'll be able to chase after Clarky Boy, Matty Pitt, Rednass and Magfire, and Bennett will be in a prime position to win this race. I reckon Bennett could be in with a shout of winning this tonight. I honestly do. Well, it'll take a monumental effort, that's for sure. And he's still not coming in, which is a bit of a surprise to me, because I would have thought he'd be getting on those softs as soon as possible, trying to maximise the time that he's on that faster tyre. But I guess he's the one in the car. He's the one that knows how it feels and knows how it's getting on. Little Greavy trying to get ahead of Jelram. Little Greavy on fresh soft tyres, Jelram on mediums. But yeah, I don't know. On paper, you'd think Little Greavy would have a quicker car, and he is getting on the back of him now. He's pulling out of the slipstream here. Down the start, finish straight they come, side by side. And Little Greavy is going to move himself into P6. Can Jelram come back at him, though, coming into turn 1? Little Greavy has got that one done. So Little Greavy now running in P6 in this race ahead of Jelram, having done a great job there. Moved himself up the order. You got the Mark Snuts has got Little Greavy running within 7/10 of a second of him at the moment, so these two pretty close. And T Latifi's not too far away from Rexy Boy either. Jelram's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He's still on the back of Little Greavy at the moment, and Bennett's now finally coming into the pits. So soft tyres will be ready for Bennett when he stops in that box. There is his pit crew now. Where is Matty Pitt? He's just coming round now. Clarky Boy coming down the start finish now. Where's Bennett? Bennett's just off and away now. So Clarky Boy comes through. Bennett will be well clear of Little Greavy though. Now what is the gap? Let's have a look. Bennett's 18 seconds behind the leader, so he's probably not going to win, but he's going to do 8 laps on the faster tyre, so maybe he might be able to get... He could get into P2 potentially. I reckon Bennett could be on for P2, but the big story here is Little Greavy pitting for fresh soft tyres with 10 laps left to go here in this race. He had the lead. He was on mediums. He started on the softs. And he's gone and put the soft on. He's gone and done a pit stop when there was no need. I'm going to have to ask Little Greavy what he was doing here, because he's gone and thrown this race away. So yeah, very strange one. But Little Greavy is currently on the back of Jelram, trying to get himself back into the top 6 if he can. Chicken Wings just got a 3-second time penalty for track limits. So here come these two, Jelram and Little Greavy, down the start finish straight now. Little Greavy's going to be trying to pick it up a toe if he can. He pulls out of the slipstream now, looking down the inside here. And Little Greavy breezes past Jelram again, but these two I think are going to keep trading places. Such is the nature of Monza. Jelram gives Little Greavy a bit of a bump up the rear there. Cheeky, as another commentator, Matahimovic, would say. I'm trying to come back. A Little Greavy has a little duck to the inside, trying to distract him in the mirrors. Little Greavy having none of it though. I'm trying to find a way through, obviously on those medium tyres. Little Greavy on the soft. Little Greavy should have a quicker car at this point. Bennett's closed up to within a second now of Clarky Boy, and on the fresh soft tyres you feel that Bennett's probably going to have an easy job of this. He's got Matty Pitt 4 seconds up the road, so I can't imagine he'll waste too much time getting after him either. Well, he's 8 seconds behind Redknapp at this point with 6 laps left to go. He's on 7 lap fresher tyres, and we've got 6 laps left to go, including the one we're about to go on to. So you do the maths. He's got to go 1.3 seconds faster a lap than Redknapp, and that's including getting ahead of Clarky Boy and Matty Pitt, which he's just getting ahead of Clarky Boy now. So here goes Bennett down the inside. That's not going to be too difficult. He needs to make sure he gets good traction out of the chicane though, otherwise Clarky Boy will be back on him again for the next zone. But he gets a good run there, and that's Bennett now up into 4th place, so he can now focus his attention on the podium spots and maybe a P2 here in this race. The big shock really though, out of a win here in this one. And the other big shout, Magfire, after an absolute nightmare first couple of laps of this race, leading this race now by 10 seconds and looking like he's got this one in the bag. It's the Mutts Nuts has gone ahead of T Latifi up into P10 here. And T Latifi coming into the pits again. Doesn't need to, but he is. And once again, I want to say a big thank you to the 10 people currently watching the stream. Guys, if you like what you see, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the Motive Racing channel, and join us at www.motiveracing.com. Join the Discord server if you want to be involved in the leagues. We're moving on to F1 2022 pretty soon. I have thought about this, and as we see Magfire's lost it. The race leader's lost it coming through the first chicane. Oh my goodness, this is absolutely huge. Magfire has just binned it coming through the first corner, and the gap is now 2 seconds here between Magfire and Redknapp. Unbelievable scenes. Oh my god. And Bennett on fresh soft tyres is now only 8 seconds off of the lead with 5 laps left in this race. Could Bennett LCFC be in with a shout of a win here? Oh my goodness, this is absolutely unbelievable. I did not expect that in a million years. Wow. So Bennett could be pushing for a win here, but Magfire making a completely unforced error there whilst in the lead of the race. He's lost about 7 or 8 seconds there with that one. And to be fair, he drove a fantastic comeback driving this race, had a slow start, was making mistakes in the early part of the race, but he's brought himself up through the field so impressively. As Clarky Boy's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit warnings we're seeing on the graphic. But 4 laps left to go, and Magfire's got 2 seconds to Redknapp. Redknapp, I wouldn't say is the one he's got to worry about. I'd say the one he's got to worry about at this point would be Bennett, who's on fresher tyres, and he's on the soft as well. But Bennett's not really making an impression at the moment. He's chasing down a podium spot at the moment though, as Joram gets himself into P5. Gets out of Clarky Boy. Clarky Boy's trying to defend from Little Greavy here, and the Grieve, he's miles behind them and 20 seconds behind him in 8th place. But Little Greavy now looking around the outside of Clarky Boy. Clarky Boy gives him the space on the outside, and Little Greavy swoops round up into P6. Clarky Boy not really in position to come back in him here, coming into the Della Roger chicane at the moment. But Bennett's got the gap down to 1.4 to Matty Pitt, so Bennett's continuing to really get the best out of that Williams car at the moment. Joram though and Little Greavy not too far off of these two, battling over 3rd and 4th. Magfire's got 3 seconds to Redknapp at the moment out the front, so Magfire's picked it back up since that mistake, which could have lost him this race, but at the moment he's still holding on to this lead, and he's got a reasonable cushion at this point. As long as he doesn't make any more mistakes, he should be alright here for this one. Bennett in 4th on the soft tyres, not making the gains that he'd want to. He's gaining on Matty Pitt, but that's as far as the gains go at the moment. He's not gaining anything on the leaders. Magfire and Redknapp still running 1 and 2 at the moment. 3 seconds separating these two. Matty Pitt though is going to have Bennett breathing down his neck over this next lap or so. Joram running in P5. Joram and Little Groovy haven't got ahead of Clarky Boy, running in P5 and 6. Joram, the reigning champion and championship leader, will be absolutely miles ahead in the championship after tonight, with the absence of Aldrich Avist again. As we see the Mutsnuts has got a 3-second time penalty there. Oh, Chicken Wing! Just as we flicked to him, we saw the end of that incident there. We saw Chicken Wing as he went into the wall. What is it with Monza, right? I swear Monza just disables safety cars or something. Because I seem to remember last time we raced at Monza, we had no safety cars, despite the fact that there were loads of incidents. But anyway, we lost 4 drivers. We're down to 13 here tonight. Magfire's lead now 4 seconds, so he's continuing to extend it to Redknapp. And Bennett's now ahead of Matty Pitt into 3rd place. We missed that one whilst we were laughing at Chicken Wing losing it as we flicked to him, which was quite amusing, just the way that we happened to be flicking down the order and we happened to get him crashing into the wall. But Bennett at the moment into 3rd place, but he's 4 seconds up the road to Redknapp. I don't think he's going to get him, as we can see Matty Pitt coming back at him here. He's not going to worry about what's in front of him, he's got to worry about what's behind him here, or what's now in front of him. Matty Pitt down the inside there into the first chicane, runs Bennett a little bit wide, and Bennett nowhere to go. Matty Pitt back up into the podium places here. These two having a great fight. Clarky Boy's dropped off the pace a little bit at the back end of this race. Joram running in P5 has gapped Little Groovy by about 1.4 here. As we can see, Bennett's getting back ahead of Matty Pitt into the Della Rosa chicane. Gives him the minimum amount of space on the outside and squeezes through back up into 3rd place again here. Great stuff from these guys. As Matty Pitt's lost out to Joram. Where did Joram come from? Did Matty Pitt have a bit of an incident? He must have run wide out of the chicane, because Joram sneaking through up into 4th. And Joram, you would never have believed it a few laps ago, could be on the verge of a P3 here in this race. Can Joram get him himself into the podium spots? As we've got a lap and a bit left to go here in this race, as Bennett is just coming around to lap Latifi. Oh, Bennett, it would be a shame for him to lose the podium spot now, but Joram would deserve it. He's been pushing like crazy over these last few laps. As Magfire is about to start his final lap of the race, the race leader coming over the line to start lap 27. You've got Redknapp running in 2nd place, but Bennett and Joram are going to go at it to the flag, you feel, here for 3rd place in this race. Matty Pitt there running in P5 ahead of Little Groovy. You've got Clarky Boy there in P7 at the moment. Oh, as you see Bennett getting a little bit loose there out of the chicane. Let's jump on board with this man here, Joram, as we're coming through the Curva Grande here for the final time. Can Joram get himself into a position where he can send one here on Bennett? Is it just coming through to put a lap on Latifi? Bennett's just got to keep it cool. Joram's really got to take risks here, because this is last chance saloon for him. What sort of setup has Bennett got on the car? Has he got a low downforce? We reckon he has, based on what we saw earlier on. He's really... This is the first of 2 more chances for Joram to get this move done. He's going to have the DRS. Bennett might get the slipstream off of that car, but here goes Joram. Joram's going to look down the inside. Bennett has to leave the space because Joram is coming at him in such a rate of knots, and Joram down the inside into 3rd place, coming through Ascari. Is Bennett going to be able to come back at him though? Coming through the final part of the lap. Magfire coming into the final corner. Bennett though is going to have DRS here. Well, he won't have DRS because Joram was behind into the detection zone. So here comes Joram into the final parabolica. He's going to take P3 here in this race. Magfire up towards the line though. It's going to take the victory here at Monza for the Italian Grand Prix and Motive. What a drive from Magfire. He came from nowhere to take the lead coming towards the end of the race, and he takes the victory here. What a drive. Redknapp 2nd ahead of Matty Pitt. What a drive from Redknapp as well though. Hats off to him. Big shout out. Matty Pitt over in 3rd place to complete the podium. A surprise podium, if we can call it that. Really great to see those three taking the top 3 positions. Joram loses out on P3 due to a penalty there, so Matty Pitt gets his reward for his perseverance. Bennett, though, loses out on 2 places at the end, so he would have known about that. He would have known he was going to lose those places to Joram and Matty regardless. Little Greavy takes 6th place in the end, so a very, very strange decision from him to pit for soft tyres with a few laps left in the race. Clarky Boy 7th place, petered out at the end a little bit. The Grieve absolutely light years behind here in 8th place, comes over the line. The Muts Nuts comes over in 9th place. That's that for the race though. That's that here for the Motive Formula 1 League. And Magfire taking the win ahead of Rednass and Matty Pitt, who complete the podium. Joram finishing in 4th place ahead of Bennett 5th. Little Greavy finishing in 6th place here in this one. Clarky Boy 7th ahead of the Grieve in 8th. The Muts Nuts finished in 9th place. Penguin in 10th, followed by T Latifi in 11th. And then we had Rexy Boy in 12th and Kenny rounding out the classification there in P13. What a race there though, guys. That was absolutely fantastic. I loved following that one from start to finish, as we got Darren Robertson in the comments saying, my boys Matty, Bennett, Rexy and T, let's go. And Kenny, come on boys. Well, what a drive there from Matty there, Darren. He absolutely smashed it here tonight. P3 in the Mercedes after starting P3 on the grid. He qualified well. He finished absolutely brilliantly there. Hats off to him. And well done to Magfire and Rednass on the 1st and 2nd places. Thanks everybody for joining us once again here on the Motive channel for the Motive Formula 1 League round 14 of the season. Joram extending his championship gap over Ultra Cavalry by finishing P4 tonight, but the action was elsewhere from the championship battle this evening. Thanks everybody once again. Make sure you join us next week. We'll be here same place, same time as always for the F1 League. We will be live at Singapore. We're not going to be racing at Russia. Obviously that one a little bit taboo at this particular moment in history, so we'll be skipping that one out, at least for the time being. But once again, I want to say a big thank you, guys. So we'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.